Music sees all.
Well, that is... Hi everyone. First of all, bonjour tout le monde. C'est pas dur, on s'en va voir des extraterrestres sur la surface. Et non, peut-être pas toutes des ovnis, mais nous allons voir. Vous allez apprécier. So, hi and welcome everyone. I guess it's an initiation for me to go through all these attempts and attacks of people online, and it gets me even stronger. And why? Well, because of you, my magnificent community. Check it out, guys. 3 lights simultaneously going by in that big circle that you just saw. Oh yeah, you saw it properly. And we're going to see that in slow motion a bit further. What are you looking at? You're looking at UFOs, or is it biological creatures? I wouldn't have even put it in the title. It probably would have taken it down. Are we not allowed our own beliefs? Listen, it's not about belief. I'm watching lights interacting on the surface. And not just any light. Watch carefully. I've been telling... yeah, you saw it too? Going by, right? But most of you are on phones. And I think that that's really funny. The fact that to see the surface and the detail, you really need a large monitor to really see all these videos very well. But I'm reaching less people. It doesn't matter. But it's the truth. Look at that. What the heck are we looking at? Well, we're looking at objects on the surface of the moon that are going in different directions. They have different sizes, shapes, and forms. They're doing different things on the surface. And by slowing the footage down, and when I say slowing it down, I'm talking about slowing it down. See the pixelation wanting to start in the image? Yes, I'm no doubt about it, very close. Check it out. With all the structure, look at this, 3 lights. Check it out, okay? Isn't that amazing? That's right, it's all on the surface. There's an extra light that just appeared there. Well, those lights came out of another craft. It's all a series of events that goes on the surface. Watch carefully. You could really see a light either interacting or literally coming from that object. The dark object will disappear, and that white bright light will get a lot brighter and continue on its path. And you could see with the structuring on the surface and with the smokes and hazes, of course the camera's trying to adjust, you could clearly see what's going on. So you get in even lower than that and you find the clearings, and you see that a lot of people say that there's smudges on NASA photos. And this is just speculation for me, the whole thing that I'm going to say. If it is brushed out, like many think, and I'm not saying it isn't. I know some say that they have proof that some spots are brushed out. But let me tell you something. For me, what I saw was my photos too had areas that looked brushed out. How come? And a lot of people had mentioned it to me in the beginning of my research. This is Bianchini Crater, by the way, just east at the end of the Applebite, Sinus Iridum, 40 kilometers from Bianchini Crater. You see these massive objects and a surface filled with structural objects, natural or not. Not inventing anything, it's an inverted, straight up inverted photo. Very rarely use filters here, but you see, that's always been a game, because in reality, some filters have to be used. You'll see green colors, you'll see red colors, but we're talking filters, we're not talking about manipulation. And this is just an inversion. What is this? Well, even with a smaller telescope, because this was with the, was it actually? No, I think it was with the 14. I'm not even sure anymore. I think maybe not. These can be seen on the surface. Well, what did it do? Yes, it's going into the darkness. They're landing. These objects are landing. You can see here one going straight into a supposed crater. And notice it's a very particular dark object with a light emitting from it, which would be very large, half a mile to a mile long, that light. Un demi-mille à 1 mille de long, la lumière qu'on vient de voir. All right, let's go to the surface even closer and look at some of these ghostly objects. Could they be storms? Could they be UFOs? Look at the energy field underneath what looks like a spherical light that is traveling over the surface, and you could see a displacement of particles of energy, whatever, underneath. You could see the field, maybe the magnetic field under this object moving around, and that's what I'm analyzing. You see that there was a red filter there so that we could see more of the details around the objects, and that is how I will use filters. Here, no filtering. You're seeing a blue UFO, but in reality, the edges of the craters are seen as blue, so it could be refraction of light as it's rising off of the surface, but nonetheless, it's a UFO leaving crater. And this is happening all the time on the surface in different areas simultaneously. They're all over the surface, and some look bigger. Well, say to yourself, they're maybe not bigger. This one could be closer to us. Or, yeah, it could be one heck of a big ship. But on the surface, flashing lights, activity all over and around the moon off the surface. This is Archimedes crater. You can see the greenery inside, but take a look. As I was watching inside the crater, we could see this, what looks like an object either moving or flying around inside of the crater. And that's not all. You slow it down, you remain there. Yeah, it's a hard view, it's too close, some will say, but look what we can see. I don't know how many times I've seen UFOs go by craters, creating a shadow on the surface, thus proving that they're literally flying over the surface of the moon. So, mothers, children, fathers, and children, together, show your kids, tell them only this is the surface of the moon. Don't talk about craters at all, unless they already know, but it doesn't matter, and just ask them their reaction, and ask them what they think they're seeing and what they think is up there on the moon. Sometimes you get sometimes you can get some interesting feedback from your children. That way you get an honest response back by someone who is not corrupt by any systems. Trust me, children are pure. Oh, and yeah, parents, yes, turn down the volume because they'll hear me speaking of the structural objects and this beautiful new view of a crater we're seeing a similarity with. See the connections or bridges or corridors that I always talk about? How about this? This is just along the crater. And of course, we're along the Terminator's edge, giving us a beautiful view of details of the surface, the real thing. That's it. That's what it looks like. Now, you must understand that you have to get close and slow it down and even stop it and get it still to be able to see these small lines. They're near undetectable, but not impossible to detect. That's what people are not seeing. Two parallel worlds that depend greatly on one another. Possibly the lives, past and ancient ancestors that we've had. Could possibly every so many thousands of years, or any apocalyptic event, cataclysmic event, would have had to have gone from the earth to the moon, or vice versa, from the moon to the earth. The moon and the earth share their waters, I believe, and maybe that is the water that we're seeing between earth and the moon. Thank you for liking this video and taking the time to subscribe and sharing it on other platforms.
Aliens are the moon. Aliens are the moon. And they're mining really up there.
fire. Up there, aliens on the moon. Aliens on the moon. Aliens on the moon. They may be coming soon. They may be coming soon. Aliens on the moon. If there's fire on the moon, and then finding.
This is Houston. Say again, please.